Hello and welcome to a live coverage today, Saturday, the 1st of December, for the second round of parliamentary and municipal elections for the 5th legislative term. The people have voted last Saturday and made their voices heard with a percentage of 67% of the voters eligible to cast their ballots. Only 9 candidates in the parliamentary elections won in the first round of the elections last week, and the competition is still strong today for the remaining 31 seats of the Council of Representatives. Meanwhile, in the municipal elections, 5 have been selected across the kingdom's governorates and 1 uncontested. Therefore, there is still competition for the remaining 23 seats in the municipal councils in the Muharraq, Southern and Northern governorates. Today is yet another pledge to the first vote Bahrain has witnessed, which is the National Action Charter, which laid the foundations of the democratic action following the vision and reform project of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. The vote started this morning at 8 a.m. and doors will close at 8 p.m. The results of last Saturday's vote in the parliamentary elections in the capital governorates are as follows. Meanwhile, the results of the parliamentary elections in the 8 constituencies of the Muharraq governorates are as follows. Governorates, the results of the parliamentary elections are shown in these graphics. And now we turn to the results of the parliamentary elections in the southern governorates, which are as follows. And now let's take a look at the results of the municipal elections of the Muharraq governorate. And now for the results of the municipal elections in the northern governorate. And now the results of the municipal elections in the Southern Governorate. The number of voters eligible to cast their ballot for parliamentary elections is 365,467. Of them are 183,729 are males and 181,738 females. Meanwhile, the number of voters eligible to vote in the municipal elections is 285,991. Of them, 144,002 are males and 141,909 are females. This year's election saw the competition of 428 candidates, of which 291 for the 40 seats of the Council of Representatives and 137 candidates for the municipal councils across the kingdom spread around the 4 governorates. The number of voters eligible to vote in both ballot boxes is 424,000, with an increase of 47,278 votes from 2014. There are 54 polling stations across the 4 governorate constituencies that the voters can go to, in addition to 14 general polling stations that include the Bahrain International Airport, Manama Sif Mall, the Ministry of Education Hall, and Bahrain International Circuit. Today, citizens go to cast their ballot for both the parliamentary and municipal elections in its second round, while non-Bahrainis who obtain a permanent residential address in the Kingdom of Bahrain have the right to cast their ballot in the municipal elections. Now, with us in the studio today is one of the winners in the parliamentary elections this year with ample experience in the parliament. He has also won the same seat for the past 2 terms, making this his 3rd time. Mr. Isa Koheji, welcome to the studio and thank you for agreeing to do this interview.
Thank you.
Mr. Koheji, can you tell us how it feels that you've preserved the constituency's confidence for so long?
It's an honor, first of all, to be able to win 3 times. To win your first election is difficult. To win your second election is very hard. To win your 3rd election and all 3 times winning them at the first round, it's super hard, but it's a satisfaction that you get after all is said and done, that you have the confidence of people behind you. And it shows that it can happen if you have a clear program, a clear strategy of how to deal with the constituency. Over the past 8 years, we have the clear programs and we've been implementing our programs from day one. So it's very clear. Thank God, the voters, the number of votes even this time around was more than the votes I got in 2014 and in 2010. So it's all positive.
Your Excellency, if we allude to that, we witnessed a 67% voter turnout in the first round of elections, and the numbers also speak up to how many people are eligible to vote and how people are aware of the importance of making their voices heard. In your opinion, how do you assess this shift in voter awareness between 2014, 2010 and now?
I think the voter awareness has grown in Bahrain, and this is what's positive about the whole democratic process that we have. The more voter turnout, the better the education is. So yes, we are on the right track. I've always been saying we are on the right track in our democratic process. It just needs time. And slowly, the turnout is becoming more. People are more happy to go vote, and people are more happy to go actually cast their own opinions. Once somebody goes to the voting polls, they are actually talking about their opinion. This is the person we want, this is the person we're not so sure about. So 67%, this is a huge number comparing to international standards.
True. Yeah. And Mr. Koheji, you've been in Parliament for a while now, and there are different issues that were discussed in Parliament, but in your opinion, going forward, what do you think the main agenda of the Parliament should be?
I believe the main legislatives that the whole country has to be looking into, whether parliament, whether the government, should be the economic issues. This is very, very important for the next 4 years. The economic situation internationally is not very stable at the moment, so I think we should be very wise to look at the economic situation, economic legislation, and we should be able to get direct foreign investments into Bahrain to actually keep the economy going and increasing slowly.
Your Excellency, to those who don't understand the working of the National Assembly in Bahrain, could you tell us what the roles and responsibilities of parliamentarians are towards their constituents?
If we're talking towards their constituents, we are lawmakers, but every MP or every person who gets elected deals with their constituency in a different way. If you're talking about how do people look at it, my programs that I have set for the constituency, I believe for my district was a winning formula for me to be able to win the third term. And other people deal with it the other way. There are other MPs that have also won, and other MPs are in the process today to be elected. So we will see, but every constituency has their own formula, and you have to be able to know what formula works best for you, so you can able to apply it and hopefully stay in the seat.
Your Excellency, Bahrain is celebrating today Bahrain Women's Day, and we take this platform to congratulate Bahraini women and Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, the President of the Supreme Council for Women. And we've witnessed an increased number of participation in women running for office and participating in the vote. In your assessment, how do you evaluate this increase in women participation in the legislative authority?
This is definitely one of the most important things for me to see, actually women getting elected and not having a quota situation for them. This shows how well we are educated and how well we are fair to everyone. We don't bias a man over a woman. Having women winning in the first round, we've got 2 women that have won in the first round. That is actually very positive. The number increased of women running for parliamentary election, this just shows how well educated we are in Bahrain to actually say, you know, whether a man or a woman, whoever is put up, we will vote for whoever is the best. And this is absolutely excellent. I'm very happy to see extra numbers every elections increasing. We're comparing from 2010 election to 2014 and then 2018. I'm afraid if this goes on the trend, very soon we will not have any men running.
Your Excellency, in your opinion, and I know you alluded to that in the beginning, but in your opinion, what should someone look for in a candidate? And you've, mashallah, secured the seats for 3 times now. What are the perks or advantages that a parliamentarian could give to secure the vote and confidence of the constituents?
It all depends on the voter himself. How does he look at it? There are certain districts in Bahrain that are a little bit more conservative. There are certain areas that are a little bit more liberal. So there isn't a certain formula that you can apply and it will work in every single district. No. It depends on the district itself. People's awareness is very important. Being able to get your ideas to the voter and having the voter have confidence in you that you can achieve what you're saying. This is the key point. So whether it being in Muharraq or it being in the southern government, it doesn't matter. You have to have a program, and your program has to be very clear and be able to get the message through to the voter.
So it is safe to say that for someone who's running for office, they would need to analyze the values of their own constituents and then tailor the messages and craft the program accordingly to what the values are, and then hopefully be able to pursue that agenda in Parliament. Mr. Kohaji, why is it important for us to spread awareness of this democratic process to the youth of Bahrain? We see people going to the polling stations with their children, casting their vote with their children, making sure that they are exposed to this democratic process at a very early age. Sometimes the children have questions and the parents oblige and answer, and it's a beautiful scene to see, to be honest, in the polling stations. But why do you think this reinforcement of us showing our children what the process is like is important?
For the very basic reason, to have the correct channel to get their demands. This is basically it. There are correct channels of how you can ask for things and how you can get things. Parliament is where it happens. Having the youth from today being involved in the democratic process, they're going to be a lot stronger when they are my age today than when I was at any time. We didn't have this when we were growing up, but the future generation definitely will be able to deal with the democratic processes a lot better than we are doing today. That's for a fact, because of the education that they're getting at such a young age.
The awareness level at a very young age. Is it safe to say that awareness in general of the democratic process in Bahrain has evolved since the beginning of the elections?
For sure, for sure, definitely. The turnout is a clear testament of what you're asking. 67%, that's not a small number. You've got countries that their democracies are far, far older than ours, and they don't have over 50% turnout. So having it over 50%, that's an achievement. Then achieving over a 65%, that's definitely a milestone.
And how do you evaluate this whole democratic process in Bahrain? How do you evaluate it with regards to the region, for instance?
I think we have been on the right track. If you do see how we started in 2002, we had certain obligations as a parliamentary can do. Then in 2012 we had a constitutional amendment. Just for a simple example, the question was removed from the Shura Council. Then another constitutional amendment came through just recently, which gave the question back to the Shura Council. This is definitely clearly showing to everybody that we are learning as we're going along. There are things that we do, and if it doesn't work, we can reverse it back. We can tailor-make it. Every democracy has to be tailor-made by their own people and not getting it from somewhere else. So you cannot copy-paste democracy, but you have to tailor-make it yourself. And as you're going along, there are things that will work for you, you keep it, and things that don't work, you have to remove it and bring new things. So this is definitely a very clear understanding of where we're going.
Mr. Kojo, we'll carry on with this discussion, but citizens and residents who are eligible to vote in the elections showed excitement as they went to cast their ballots last Saturday. GCC nationals and other nationalities who own properties in the Kingdom of Bahrain have the right to cast their ballot in municipal elections, while citizens can vote for both the parliamentary and municipal ballot boxes.
Participation is much, I can see the people there more than I think so last time. According to the newspapers also, that abroad this time also number of people are more than before, and I hope so that the vision of King Hamad, it will be more effective, and in coming years we will see the more democratic values in regard through this election. And I hope that the new coming parliament members, they will see the problems of the people of their constituency, and they will fulfill them according to their issues, according to their wills. So this is my vision. The voting process is very easy. I came at 10 o'clock, so I can see there is no such kind of any hurdles, any problems, and more people are coming now to participate in the future as well.
Well, it's excellent and very easy. There's no problem, very manageable, it doesn't take time, and we have to participate in this. All these people, Bahraini or whatever, that they should come and do the participation, so we can see the people who are selected for us, and then we can, continue for the country, to development, for everything. It is very easy, very comfortable, no problem. We didn't have to wait just 1 minute here, second minute there, and third minute we are out. I mean, before also we did, but this time I feel it is very easy and more comfortable.
I mean, national duty. We have to participate in an election to choose good candidate who work for us and serve for us. Good. It's second time I came here. It's a very good, very easy. It's not too long, very easy way to vote the people. I don't know exactly because I'm a very busy person. I don't meet and do much of the people. But maybe they are work hard. They're young people. Should be work hard. They hard.
Welcome back, dear viewers. We now continue our discussions with third-time MP, Mr. Isa Kohiji. Mr. Kohiji, if we go back in history and discuss how the parliament came about, the National Action Charter, which was endorsed by 98.4% of the population, leading the way to the Constitution in 2002 and the birth of the National Assembly, the bicameral system in Bahrain of Shura and Parliament. Can you tell us more about this system and how it works?
Very basically, two houses, each one with 40 MPs. 40 are elected in the House of Representatives, and 40 appointed by His Majesty the King in the Shura Council. Both of them look over laws. If there is a consensus between both houses, the law will go to His Majesty the King to be signed and come out as a law. This is the very basic working of the House of Representatives, or the legislative house that we have in Bahrain. But if there isn't a cohesiveness between the two houses, laws don't go through. And this is very important, that they should work very closely together, the two houses, whether the Shura Council or the House of Representatives.
So it's a very open and democratic path for these laws and legislations to pass following deliberations between the two chambers. Your Excellency, there are different committees under Parliament, and these committees are specialized with different issues. Can you tell us more about your work in the Economic and Financial Committee of the Parliament?
One of the major roles that the Economic and Finance Committee has is looking into the budget. It is going in the new constitutional amendment. What happened is now both committees from both houses have a joint meeting with the government. So, and they have to come to a consensus on the budget for it to be approved. So you have 8 members from the Shura Council Finance Committee and 8 members from the House of Representatives Finance Committee meet with the other side, which is the government, and they have to come with a consensus on the budget. This is the first hurdle this time around when Parliament will be sworn in, will be facing. This is the first hurdle that they will have to look into, which is the budget for the next 2 years.
So I know you alluded to the process, but when it comes to this hurdle, what are we expecting in the next session?
I believe this time it's going to be very hard. The economic situation is very hard. The more forward we're going, the more harder it's becoming because of the economic situation. Our revenue is a lot less than our expenditure. So they have to really work it to find the balance of how they can achieve a good budget for the next 2 years.
Mr. Kohiji, we'll continue this discussion, but we'll go now to our correspondent Yasmin Ibrahim from Al-Hassam School polling station at the Capital Governorate. Now, the Capital Governorate does not have municipal elections. Yasmin, tell us about the participation there in the parliamentary elections. How's the organization at the polling station?
Good morning, Mohammed. I'm here at the Al-Hassam Primary Boys School in the Capital Governorate, And following last week's Bahrain's national elections with a huge voter turnout, it's inspiring to see that we're still witnessing a massive turnout today to elect parliamentary councillors. Of course, just like you mentioned, the capital governorate is only for parliamentary elections and not municipal councillors, as its municipal council has been replaced by its capital trustees board, an appointed body in 2014. With only 31 seats remaining, that's only 3/4 of the seats left in Bahrain's parliament. There is a close competition across all governorates, especially here in the capital governorate, with only 9 seats remaining. And joining me right now is the judge, Mr. Mohammed Abdallah Al Maouda. Mr. Mohammed, can you tell us, following last week's national success, how are we still carrying on this national success with a large amount of participants coming in to cast their ballots?
First of all, we'd like to congratulate His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and Prime Minister Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa and the Crown Prince Sheikh Salman bin Isa Al Khalifa on the achievement of the first round of the Bahraini elections. We reached to a percentage of 67%. Actually, this is considered a success to the Bahraini democracy. We are gaining the achievements of the Bahrain National Action Charter, and actually it's been a long day on the first round. Today again it's a second round. We've been here since 8 a.m. It's been a very busy day. Again, citizens are approaching us, practicing the rights, their constitutional rights actually, and choosing their representatives in the parliament. This election is going on under full inspection of a judicial authority, and we have NGOs with us. Again, we're here till 8 p.m. After 8 p.m. actually we will start counting the votes, and after that the initial results will be issued by us here, and then the final results will be issued by the higher committee. So so far so good.
Thank you so much. And witnessing those large amounts or huge groups of people coming in to cast their ballots is only showcases the amount or the sense of responsibility those Bahrainis have and the love they have to their nation. And I'm very happy to be here to witness all of this.
Indeed, Yasmin. Yasmin, from you were there last week as well. How do you compare the atmosphere this week with last week? Is the enthusiasm still there with the second round?
Definitely. It's still inspiring to see the massive amounts of people coming in, walking in since early in the morning. I've been here since early in the morning, and people have been walking in, large groups of people have been walking in to cast their vote.
Thank you very much, Yasmin. We'll be back in touch throughout the course of this program. Thank you very much. Mr. Kohaji, if we go back to our discussions, and we stopped at the budget and the economy, and it's such a big undertaking by Parliament and by the government, considering the challenging times we're facing. In your opinion, what is the best way moving forward with regards to this situation?
I believe government expenditure has to come down. That's the only way we can actually achieve. We have certain things in the budget that has to be there, i.e. one of them is housing. That is in the budget. We've had His Majesty actually ordered government to build 20,000 homes, and they did achieve 25,000 homes. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince actually ordered the release of the last 5,000 homes before December. So that was done in the government action plan. Now the new government action plan, what will it cover? How will it cover? This is all new for us. We should be waiting for it to come and see how we can achieve it. You've got two things. You've got the government action plan, and after that you've got the budget that will work with the government action plan to achieve the plan as a whole for the next 4 years. The only way I can see which can take us forward and help us out a little bit is the government has to reduce its expenditures. This is a major point.
And does the Parliament actively participate in this government action plan and the setting of the budget? What is the role of the Parliament in these two scenarios?
We actually sit with the government. Parliament sits with the government. Now it's the House of Representatives that sits with the government, goes over the plan, and agrees on the plan. Both sides agree to it that this is what needs to be done and has to be done in the next 4 years. Once that is done, okay, then it comes for a vote in Parliament, and then after that the budget comes, which is an extension of the government action plan.
Ms. Koheji, we'll continue our discussion, but we'll take this quick break and we'll be back.
الفريق التابع
صار الفريق التابع ده؟
تسكن في روحي ودمي وفؤادي بحريننا هي أرضي وبلادي تسكن في روحي ودمي وفؤادي
والله بلدنا ملحها حالي محلى بلدنا صاير اسطورة والله بلدنا
Welcome back, dear viewers. We continue this live coverage for the second round of the municipal and parliamentary elections here in Bahrain. And with us in the studio is Mr. Isa Kohiji, third-time MP. Mr. Isa, we continue our discussions. We left off on the topic of the economy and the budget. We also want to talk about and further explore the potentials of focusing on education as a mass concept in Parliament. How do you envision this cooperation between Parliament and the authorities concerned in bettering and moving this sector forward?
I believe there is a lot to be done. We're a very young democracy today. Every sector we can explore, we can do a lot with. We can get a lot more experience from countries with a lot older democracies, whether we're talking from the Far East, Europe, or United States. We have our challenges, so every parliament that comes, because being such a young parliament, we do have our internal challenges every 4 years, and this is very clear in the West and the States. You've got a representative stays for decades in his seats. Over here, because we're young, people are still trying out their representatives. There are some constituencies that they are literally changing every 4 years, and there are some that, okay, at the moment, the only two that have won is myself and another MP that we have been there for over 8 years. The rest are at the moment in the second round of elections. We'll see by this evening if they win or they lose their seats. So this is where education comes in. Having a clearer understanding of the democratic processes from our constituencies, our future generation, will change in the future to have a stronger parliament, a more stable parliament. The more you have change in a parliament, the more turbulences you will have, because if somebody new comes in, it will take him about 6 months to a year to get his feet planted correctly, and then the process will start. It's different when you have somebody who has been there for a while. The process can start
Who knows
immediately.
the works of things and how
exactly.
to address different issues and what paths to take in different situations.
Exactly.
Mr. Kohiji, we use the term democratic process interchangeably throughout the course of this program, and when talking about the elections, making your voices heard, choosing the right representative for you are slogans that we use throughout the election process. If we are to decipher this to the viewer who's watching us now, either in Bahrain or outside, what do we mean by that? Why is this a democratic process, and why are we urging people to go out and vote?
Slowly, the voice of the people has to be heard. Before 2000, if anybody would have said to me in Bahrain that you will have an election in 2 years, or even in 2001, it would have been very hard to believe. Today, anybody that has been born since 2000 has always been in the democratic process. He got to understand Bahrain, and there is voting every 4 years, whether for a council of representative, whether for municipal council. There is a Shura council that gets appointed by His Majesty the King. That wasn't the case for the generations that were born before that. So the process is there, and hopefully going forward, it will become a lot stronger. People will fight for their rights through the right channels, and this is the whole democratic process is for you to take what's yours through the proper channels, and not through the channels that people think or they think it's the right way. No, there are proper channels that have been set in place. You have to use these channels to get what you want.
And these channels were put forth by the Reform Project of His Majesty the King, in order to hear the people and hear the different concerns and demands. Mr. Kohiji, the whole election process, if I look at the other side of the spectrum, some people might say it's a waste of time, you know, and we hear this from certain negative views that come in. They say, you know, why would I go? And, you know, last time I went and nothing happened. And what do you have to say to these people? It's a bit of a tough question.
This is absolutely not a tough question, but this question is it has not become a question anymore. It's just like a statement to some of the people. It's very sad to hear that. One of the things that they say, Parliament didn't do anything for me. And I usually tell them, Parliament will never do anything for you. It will do for your future generation. We cannot put in a law today and be able to work it tomorrow. But whatever laws that are being put in place today is for the future generation to get the benefit out of it. So Parliament usually has a gap between 15 to 20 years of whatever they're doing. Okay, there are some things that happen that you make a law today and you can get the benefit of it tomorrow. But in general, everywhere, whatever law is introduced, once a law is introduced, you've got the whole process, the whole government, the whole judicial system has to be aware, has to know the law, has to know the ins and outs of it. For it to work smoothly, this will take time. And that is why we always tend to say, you have to give it time. It's a process, it's not something on a daily basis. And yes, there is a lot of people who say, Parliament has not done anything for me. And they could be saying that, but you have to change and say, what can I do to actually change the process for it to do something for me? And this is where democracy is. It's you having your own rights to choose whether you vote or you don't vote. If you vote for the right person, you will get that guy that speaks your language in Parliament to actually bring forward your beliefs in Parliament for it to be whether a law, whether a statement or anything that Parliament has to offer for that constituency or for that type of person. But if you say, I'm not going to go into the process, you are wrong.
And you're forfeiting that right of...
Exactly. You have a right, you forfeit that right. And unfortunately, most of the people who don't want to use that right, they're the people who say, what did you do for me?
It's a very sad reality, but it's good that you're trying to spread this awareness through this platform. Do you envision any other initiatives maybe started by Parliament in order to instill these seeds of awareness in the people, especially those negative ones that might affect fellow citizens?
I think, honestly speaking, Ministry of Education and the government has been doing, and Bahrain as a whole has been doing something very positive in regards to educating people. Like we said in the program a while ago, that having 67% voter turnout, that is big. But what I can't put a finger on the number of the age gap, the age group that we're talking about. I would like to know the increase came from people from 21 to 30 or it came from 40 to 50. This age group, if I can get a number, because it's not showing when you go to the election, they just want your passport to see you're a Bahraini citizen and then they'll give you the ballot. So this is very important. If we can gauge this matter, it would have been excellent for us to know how our education process was going regarding our democracy. The second thing is to watch videos of people that have taken, and let's see who is younger and older people who have been walking into the valley. Just, yes, by vision. But 67%, it's not a small number.
Okay, Mr. Kohiji, we'll continue this discussion, but we have one of our correspondents live with us, Hiba Abdel Ghaffar from Ahd Zahir School, polling station at the Northern Governorate. Hello, Hiba. Can you hear me? Hiba, you are in the biggest governorate in terms of number of voters. How is the participation in today's vote? You might be facing technical difficulties. We will try Hiba at a later stage. So, Mr. Kohiji, if we go back to the whole electoral process and elections, can you walk us through the process? What happens exactly when someone decides to run for office until he is in office? Can you walk us through that process?
First of all, I'll tell you my experience. I've always been inclined to be a people's person, try to be around a lot of people. So that was a given for me. When I decided to run, obviously I asked my family that I'm deciding to run for election. Everybody wished me good luck, and then the district that I was in was very conventional district. The 2 terms before were the seats were taken by Islamic societies, and when I went in, people were like, "Don't you think this does not suit?"
They're used to a certain image.
And there is a big conflict in the image over here.
That's the perks of the democratic process, right? So
exactly,
whomever you see is fit to run,
exactly,
regardless of what entity they are affiliated with. Then they make their way to office.
And this is exactly when we came in. I had a very clear program, which was education. Based on education was our main key concern, then human welfare, and then the spiritual side of it. So putting all these 3 together, I started talking to people, explaining to them what I can do when I come into office, how is it going to be run, what are the processes that we're going to do. Alhamdulillah, after we won, my office has been running since day 1, and today we've got our educational seat. We call it an educational seat, that people from our constituency, I give them a seat in either University of Bahrain or Bahrain Polytechnic. Alhamdulillah, in this program, we've had close to 200 students going through the program. So if you actually educate a person that you can help him to get a better job in the future, you've helped him out in a sort of sense. So this program is working. Then we've got a renovation program because of the area is very old, so we help out in that. And we've got a spiritual program as well. So putting these 3 combinations together, I think it was a good model for my constituency. And that's why it's been going for 8 years, and inshallah now we're going to go to 12 years.
So people see the fruits of this choice that they made, and that pushes them to make the choice again, because they see the tangible fruits of it. Mr. Kohiji, you alluded to something, and it kind of sprung my curiosity when you said you sat down with your family and you told them, I'm running for office. On a personal level, running for a post with so much responsibility such as this, a lot of constituent expectations, how does that affect you personally? Does it change you?
Definitely. It does change you in a lot of ways. I don't know, people say I've changed. I don't feel that I have changed, but people say you have changed. So I guess this question has to be asked to other people who know me.
Who know you who you are. And what about the load of work that parliamentarians might face throughout their time in office? It is a big responsibility to bear. Does this, do you get emergency meetings that you have to attend and legislations that you have to pass? What can you tell us about the nature of the work?
It's a stressful job, especially with the economic situation that we're living in Bahrain. The more the restraints you have, the more stress you have. So at the moment, our economic situation is not fantastic. So there is a lot of pressure on the MPs will be that they have to have the programs that were in the budget in the past that today the government is trying to tailor down a little bit. But the people still want the programs as it used to be. So the person in the middle is the MP. So like they say, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You've got both sides pressurizing you, and you're the person who has to actually take the pressure and be able to get this fine equilibrium between both sides, that both sides are happy.
Mr. Kohiji, we'll continue this discussion, but we'll go back to Hiba Abdelghaffar, our correspondent from Ahd al-Zahar School in the Northern Governorate. Hiba, can you describe the atmosphere there?
Good morning, Mohammed. Good morning, Mohammed. It's going very well here. It's the second round, and people are, the participation is very, very high this time as well. The competition is very fierce. We have 20 candidates competing for 10 seats in the Representative Council, and we have 22 competing for 11 seats in the Municipal Council. What is very impressive here is the level of awareness of voters. I hear them discussing candidates and why they are choosing them. They are still committed to fulfilling their national duty and being part of this democratic celebration. They keep on mentioning very exact reasons on why they are choosing those candidates and why not. And they went through the plans of those candidates, and candidates are very good this year. They have certain KPIs on how to measure their performance, which is great. They're not just saying empty slogans or empty words. They do have plans on representing the people, and people do feel this and are very supportive to them. This is why this is why they are very enthusiastic to be here and cast their ballots. So the level of awareness here that we have is that they don't only know how to choose the candidates, they also know how to evaluate their performance after they get chosen. Those candidates will be representing those people. There will be their deputies and advocates, and they won't be representing any personal interests or political affiliations. They will be representing the national interest. As you see here behind me, the balloting process is very smooth. It takes no more than 5 minutes. So I urge every person to come here, every Bahraini citizen, and I want to remind residents who have a plot of land or who have a permanent residential address here that they have also the choice to choose who represents them in the municipal council. So I urge everyone to be part of this national celebration and choose who represents you, because it really matters. It's our call and it's our duty. That's all for now, and I'll be back to you with more details.
Thank you, Hiba. We'll be back to you in the course of the program. Viewers, we now continue our discussions with Mr. Isa Kohiji. We've seen from Hiba and from Yasmin, our correspondents on the ground, the whole smooth sailing of the election process. Yeah. And then we noticed, that there are these plastic boxes where ballots are kept in. Can you talk about, or assess the whole election process that we're following in Bahrain?
Our election process is very transparent. You literally can watch what you saw on TV. This is exactly what's happening as a candidate. Last week I was standing inside the hall, watching the whole process. You would come to the first station, you give them your passport and your CPR number. They put in your CPR number to make sure that you are a resident of the certain district. They give you the ballots. You take the ballot, you tick on whoever the candidate you want. You fold it, you don't fold it, and you put it in the box. It's up to you. The boxes that you saw, the transparent boxes, are literally sealed from all 4 sides. The seals have a number. These numbers are actually registered, so there is no 2 seals in Bahrain the same number.
Oh, wow.
So they're actually sealed from all 4 sides. They will stay sealed till voting is over at 8 p.m. Then either the candidate or his representative can stay in wherever the ballot was. They can stay over there. The doors get locked. Literally nobody goes in and out after that point, after 8 p.m. So whoever wants to stay in, stays in. Last week, people were there till 7 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So once the doors are locked, the seal gets open in front of everybody, and the box is turned around, and all the votes come out, and then they count the votes literally in front of everybody.
So it is a very transparent process.
Absolutely transparent.
And candidates have the right to be there to monitor
Yes,
this.
they have the
ensure.
right to be there. They can actually protest if there is something going on. There is a judge in every single station, so they can talk to the judge directly. So the process is very, very transparent. And this is where I'm looking at the live broadcast right now when they were at the polling stations. I'm very happy. Honestly, it gives me a sort of a joy from inside that this is Bahrain.
Yeah.
People are going to vote. People are actually stating their opinion today. And slowly, slowly, I just can see a vision for the future of how Bahrain is going to change.
Mr. Kuhiji, we've alluded to many important messages and topics during our discussion the past hour. Do you have any final message you want to deliver to the citizens and residents of Bahrain?
Be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. One of the solutions is go vote today. Voice your opinion, and if you don't get it right this time, don't let it bring you down. Next time around, you'll get it right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kuhiji.
Thank
We
you.
wish you all the best of luck in championing through and carrying through your duties in
Inshallah.
this third term. Thank you very
Inshallah.
much.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, we'll take this short break and we'll be back with more discussions and more topics to discuss on the municipal and parliamentary elections in Bahrain.
مناير من ضوء مراكب نور هواذن الصدر بالمحبة يدور مناير من ضوء مراكب نور هواذن الصدر بالمحبة يدور حمد سعدنا حمد وعدنا حمد أملنا بين الحشا نرعاه حمد أبونا حمد أخونا حمد ولدنا نوقف على يمنا
حمد سعدنا حمد وعدنا حمد أملنا بين الحشا نرعاه نرعاه
حمد أبونا حمد أخونا حمد ولدنا نوقف على يمنا حمد مناير من ضوء حمد مراكب نور حمد هوا بين الصدى حمد بالمحبة يدور حمد مناير من ضوء حمد مراكب نور حمد هوا بين الصدى حمد بالمحبة يدور من خطيت انت تلاقت كل خطاوي بخطاك افتح الانوار تلقى الموج يمشي في خطاك ثبت الاقدام في دنياك وسدد لك خطاك احنا جيلك يا حمد شلنا على تربتنا جيل نقعد ندار البلد في القلب مثلة النجيل ندري سلمان هو هم من ثقيل إن خطيت انت تلاقى كل خطاوينا بخطاك افتح الأنوار تلقى الموج يمشي في خطاك ثبت الأقدام كف دنياك وسدد لك خطاك احنا جيلك يا حمد شلنا على تربة نجيب نقعد ندار البلد في القلب مثلة النجيب ندري هم الديرة وسلمان هو هم من ثقيل حمد أبونا حمد أخونا حمد ولدنا حمد وياك في خطاوي حمد أبونا حمد أخونا حمد ولدنا حمد وياك احنا وياك حمد أبونا حمد أخونا حمد ولدنا حمد وياك في البدايات حمد أبونا حمد أخونا حمد ولدنا حمد وياك للنهايات
حي ابو سلمان شرفنا وحضر لك تحيه عاطره ونرجو الغبور عطره قطيفي ونفل عقب المطر طيبها عود من الغالي يجود طيبها عود من الغالي يجود حي ابو سلمان شرفنا وحضر لك تحيه عاطره ونرجو القبول عطرها قطيفي ونفل عقب المطر طيبها عود من الغالي يجود حي ابو سلمان شرفنا بها عود من الغالي يجول.
Welcome back. We continue our live coverage of today's second round of the parliamentary and municipal elections in Bahrain. The candidate for the Council of Representative membership is entitled to several rights during the electoral process in terms of campaigning and on the day of the elections as well. Let us take a look at these rights with Assistant Councillor at Legislation and Legal Opinion Commission, Amina Al-Mualla.
The candidate for the Council of Representatives membership shall be entitled to obtain one official copy of the voters' list in the constituency in which he or she is nominating in, obtain an affidavit from the Election Supervisory Committee for the Council of Representatives members indicating the acceptance of his or her nomination to submit it to his or her office if he or she is a civil servant in order to be granted an unpaid leave, if he or she does not have sufficient leave balance, beginning from the day following the closing date of nominations until the end of the election process. During such period, he or she shall not exercise any of the powers of his or her public office. The right to choose two persons from the voters is registered in the voters list of his or her constituency to be his or her agents in the ballot and counting committees. To launch an electoral campaign in accordance with the rules stipulated in the Legislative Decree number 15 of 2002 with respect to the Consultative and Representatives Councils, the Legislative Decree number 14 of 1973 with respect to organizing advertisements and their implementing decisions. To withdraw his or her nomination by informing the committee in writing at least 10 days before the election's day. The committee should verify the identity of the withdrawing candidate and confirm this in front of his or her name in the candidates list of his or her constituency. This decision will also be announced on the day of elections at the door of the polling station of his or her constituency. The withdrawal decision will also be published by the Ministry of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Endowments in any of the local media at least 3 days before the day of the election. To attend by himself or his or her approved agent by the ballot and counting committee to the polling station of his or her constituency or any of the public committees during the ballot process, and to observe the election process and attend the counting process, but not the committee's deliberations. To challenge the result of the election held in his or her constituency before the Court of Cassation within 15 days from the date of announcing the election's general result.
Meanwhile, the candidate for the Municipal Council membership is entitled to several rights during the electoral process in terms of campaigning and on the day of the elections as well. Let us take a look at these rights with Assistant Councillor at Legislation and Legal Opinion Commission, Ibrahim Al-Busmait.
The rights of the municipal candidates shall be as follows. Obtain one official copy of the voters list in the constituency in which he or she is nominating in. Obtain an unpaid leave beginning from the day following the closing date of nomination until the end of the election process. During such period, he or she shall not exercise any of the powers of his or her public office, and the member may regain his or her office upon the expiration of his or her membership. Choose two persons from the voters registered in the voters list of his or her constituency to be his or her agent in the ballot and counting committees. Launch an electoral campaign in accordance with the rules stipulated in the Legislative Decree number 14 of 1973 with respect to organizing advertisements, and the rules stipulated in Decision number 77 of 2006 with respect to organizing election campaigns for elections of the Council of Representatives and the Municipal Council members. withdraw his or her nomination by informing the committee in writing at least 10 days before the election day. The committee should verify the identity of the withdrawing candidate and confirm this in front of his or her name in the candidates list of his or her constituency. This decision will also be announced on the day of elections at the door of the polling station of his or her constituency. The withdrawal will also be published by the municipality in any of the local media at least 3 days before the election day. Attend by himself or his or her approved agent by the ballot and counting committee to the polling station during the ballot process and to observe the election process and attend the counting process, but not the committee's deliberation. Challenge the result of the election held in hers or her constituency before the Court of Cassation within 15 days from the date of announcing the election's general result.
The 2018 Elections Executive Committee urged voters to benefit from the 14 general polling centers across Bahrain and casting their ballots in the runoff parliamentary and municipal polls. Voters are not required to live at the same location of the general polling centers, which have been set up in the 4 governorates. Thus, voters have the option of casting their ballots of the sub-polling stations in their representative constituencies or at one of the general centers nationwide. The locations of the 14 general polling centers are Sif Mall, Manama, Religious Institute, Sitra Mall, Head Intermediate Girls School, Bahrain International Airport, King Fahad Causeway, Hamad Town Secondary Boys School, the Education Ministries Hall, Wadi Sail Primary Intermediate Boys School, Awali Club, Bahrain International Circuit in Sakhir, Askar Primary Intermediate Boys School, University of Bahrain, and finally Mharrag Sports Club. And it is also worth noting that the parliamentary and municipal elections in the Kingdom of Bahrain are held under full supervision and administration of the Judiciary Authority to guarantee fair and independent elections. The Legislation and Legal Opinion Commission cooperates with the judiciary in organizing the elections by providing the administrative and logistical preparations for the elections, which enhances their neutrality, integrity, and independence of the electoral process. The Supervisory Committee and the 4 governorates have seen a large turnout of candidates running for the Representative Council. The number of applicants exceeded all previous parliamentary elections, with an increase of 56% compared to the largest participation in the previous elections. Meanwhile, the Northern Governorate recorded the highest number of candidates with 127 nominees, followed by the Capital Governorate with 87 applications, Mharrag with 67 applications, and the Southern Governorate with 65 applications. The number of female candidates rose to 44, marking an increase double the number of the largest participation of women in the previous parliamentary elections. Female candidates account for 13% of the total number of candidates in 2018. As for the number of candidates for municipal council, according to the governorates, the Northern Governorate came first with 73 applications, followed by the Southern Governorate with 49 applications, and Mharrag Governorate with 38 applications. This reflects keenness of the Bahraini people to participate actively in democratic development and promote gains under the constitutional institutions. The reform project of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa brought about numerous changes in the economic, political, and social fields of the kingdom. It opened new horizons and released the latent creative energy of the citizens of Bahrain while paving the way for consolidating democracy and political participation, strengthening the state of law and institutions, and increasing the level of political awareness among members of the Bahraini society.
The reform project of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa is characterized by a number of features. It's a comprehensive national project surrounded by all political forces and currents, the state and society, political elites, and the masses of the Bahraini people. It provides democracy as a way of life in practice, as well as institutions, roles, and interactions in political life by enhancing participation and emphasizing the role of institutions, especially the legislative, judicial, and executive authorities. It also preserves the state of the rule of law and the separation of powers and rationality in order to achieve the objectives of growth and renaissance, while at the same time rooting factors of stability and coexistence and renunciation of violence and terrorism. There are many aspects and fields of achievements under the reform project of His Majesty the King, and the approaches that address these achievements are varied and numerous, but the approach to political development focuses on specific dimensions and aspects, foremost of which are institutional and constitutional framework and completing the construction of the modern national state. The reform process began with the adoption of the National Action Charter by consensus by a whopping 98.4% of the population in the referendum held on February 14, 2001. This affirmed the solidarity of the people around its leadership in support of the reform efforts. The Charter deals with the general philosophy, principles, and foundations that constitute the basic elements of society and the system of government, as well as the foundations of the national economy in 7 consecutive chapters, preceded by an introduction that outlines the basic features of Bahrain's historical presence. In spite of the small size of the Kingdom of Bahrain, the kingdom's projects and achievements have not ceased to continue in accordance with a vision that emphasizes that the citizen is the basis of development's main goal. Democracy, human rights, and free and fair elections have become a reality and pattern of practice in the political life of the kingdom under the reform process of His Majesty. The Human Development Reports of the United Nations Development Programme can confirm that Bahrain has consistently ranked high on the scale of human rights and expatriate protection. The Kingdom of Bahrain Declaration, written by His Majesty, as well as the launch of the King Hamad Global Center for Peaceful Coexistence, are both examples of His Majesty's vision of religious freedom, which has garnered international attention. On the economic level, the kingdom's policies focused on diversifying the base of the national economy and investing in the people, while stressing the pursuit of economic freedom and openness to the world. There is also a constant interest in human development, the development of infrastructure, and the creation of a distinct investment climate characterized by a stable security environment that is attractive to investors financially, commercially, and legally. The Kingdom of Bahrain has also recently submitted its first voluntary report on the implementation of Sustainable Development Goals 2030 to the United Nations Economic and Social Council during the High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development. The kingdom takes an integrated and balanced development strategy that takes into consideration the promotion of the infrastructure sectors, the establishment of new cities, and the renewal of existing cities and villages. It also takes into consideration the various elements and sectors and works to adopt a stable and balanced policy. At the level of public policies, the kingdom has achieved successive achievements in various fields such as education, health, communication, security, and others. In the field of education, Bahrain has successfully pursued its national project for the development of education and training since it started in January 2006 by improving the performance of schools, developing private education and university education, intensifying internal and external missions, honoring and caring for outstanding students, and promoting the development of higher education. Health services also witness a remarkable development, in line with the standards of the World Health Organization, providing comprehensive health care and raising the quality of health services. The youth receive special attention from the state, where an integrated strategy has been developed to invest in the youth and guide them in the most effective areas. The focus is on helping young people find suitable employment opportunities and empowering them through training, rehabilitation, and sports activities. In the area of women, continuous achievements have been made in favor of the economic, social, and political empowerment of women in the kingdom. The Supreme Council for Women was established in 2001 and continues to oversee that Bahraini women receive equal opportunities in education, healthcare, and candidacy for parliamentary and municipal councils. The Kingdom of Bahrain has acceded to several international conventions against discrimination against women, such as the CEDAW Convention. It has also readapted many laws to promote women's status, rights, and equality. The reform project has seen continuous achievements in all areas of life. It has become a reality in the economic and social structure, as well as in the political life of the citizens. These achievements have cumulative and clear effects. The philosophy of the government in Bahrain stands on firm principles, particularly interaction and balance. With the advent of the 21st century, the Kingdom of Bahrain witnessed radical political, economic, and social changes brought by the reform project of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. His Majesty's vision is a pioneer project that allowed the Bahraini citizens to contribute positively, effectively, and regularly in the process of social development. Reporting for Bahrain International, I'm Shogh Mohammed.
And we continue with this live coverage of the second round of the parliamentary and municipal elections here in Bahrain after this short break. Welcome back to our live coverage of the second round of the 5th parliamentary and municipal elections of the Kingdom of Bahrain. The people have voted last Saturday and made their voices heard with a percentage of 67% of the voters eligible to cast their ballots. Only 9 candidates in the parliamentary elections won in the first round of the elections last week, and the competition is still strong today for the remaining 31 seats of the Council of Representatives. Meanwhile, the municipal elections, 5 have been elected across the kingdom's governorates and 2 won uncontested. Therefore, there is still competition for the remaining 23 seats in the municipal councils in Muharraq, northern and southern governorates. And now we take a look at the results of the parliamentary and municipal elections of last week's vote. And now we turn to the founder and president of the Social Media Club Bahrain, Mr. Ali Sabkar, to speak about the importance of social media in the election process. Hello, Mr. Ali. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Mr. Ali, could you value the use, or how do you value the use of social media by this year's candidates for the parliamentary and municipal elections?
This year, we found that the usage of social media was very high. And we believe this is due to the latest smartphone technologies, let's say the awareness of people who are using social media, especially the youth who enter the parliament or the candidates. This time we found that a lot of youth are nominating themselves for the candidates, to be the candidates. And they are very much using social media. They have their teams. They've done very well campaigns on social media. This time we found that more than 65% of the candidates are using social media heavily to reach the people and to promote themselves.
Mr. Ali, would you say, I mean, it's not news that social media is a prime source of information for a lot of people nowadays. It's fast, it's accessible. Would you say it would replace conventional means with regards to both candidates who are promoting their line of work or promoting their program, and to the constituents who are looking for the right candidate to choose?
I will not say it will replace. I will say it's complement. Today, you need social media to generate traffic to your, let's say, to your center. You want people to come to your activities. You want people to come to your place. Today, traditional media is very limited. You have only few spaces to put your ads. You have very limited space on newspapers. Barely you can go on TV or radio, but on social media you have bigger space. And you can reach more audience. You can reach audience per age, with group interest, with a lot of things. So I think it is not replacing, it is complementing, and it's adding more value. Today, people who use social media in the campaigns, they create more awareness about themselves. They reach more people, and they send. Not everyone is going to the tents or going to the centers of the nominates of the candidates, but with social media, they send a lot of videos, they send a lot of information, there's booklets. So if you use social media this time, you will reach more people. And this is all about the election. It's all about votes. Votes means you have to reach more people to know about you.
So, as you rightly said, it is a complementary process of both social media and other methods of disseminating information. But what about the campaign place itself, or the campaign location itself? Some people or some candidates relied heavily on social media and neglected to have the face-to-face interaction. Do you believe that this is the right way to go about disseminating the information regarding to their program of work?
No, I don't agree on nominating the face-to-face, because again, how people will vote for you if they don't know you. And social media is just a medium to convey a message. Okay, you are telling people who you are and why they have to come and speak to you or to vote to you. At the end, people have to let's say, not, of course, not all the people will come to your centers, or they come to talk to you face to face. However, see, in Bahrain, it's a very small country. So even if people, they saw your ad or they saw you somewhere in another area, they will start speaking to their friends and their relatives in your area. So social media helps big time in this relationship.
Indeed, so it further cements the efforts of portraying the program and disseminating information. Mr. Ali, as you can see, there's a huge number of citizen turnout to vote, and a lot of hype about the whole election process. How do you perceive this increase in awareness amongst the Bahraini society?
Again, I think social media helps a lot in increasing the number of voters this time. Social media used by social media used by society, social media used by the candidates themselves. They encourage everybody to go, distributing news. I mean, a couple of years back, since we started 2002, the elections, we didn't have that social media to help in spreading the news, spreading the instructions, even the instructions, the locations of where to go and how to vote. So social media helped big time this time to increase that percentage. I believe the percentage is not because of traditional media. It's not even because of the increase of number of voters, the candidates. Social media helped big time to help everyone to understand where to go, how to do it. You know, today all these messages through WhatsApp, through the Instagram news, even the roamers. The last 2 weeks we had a lot of roamers, and immediately the officials on social media, you know, killing that roamer immediately in the same day.
So, like you rightly said, it's a complementary mechanism that helped increase awareness. And like you said as well, that we've seen this evolvement in the ways that the information is portrayed from 2002, from the first round of elections until today. Mr. Ali, how do you evaluate, away from social media now, but how do you evaluate this whole democratic process in Bahrain? Do you believe that Bahrainis are well aware of their democratic rights? How do you assess this whole election process?
I believe this year it's a bit different, even in how people they came to vote, not necessarily to vote for specific candidates, but to come and participate in this elections, because at the end, this is a duty of you to help the democratic movement. We had a couple of discussions with people that said, you know, we don't have the right candidate in my my area. Okay, you still have to, and says, I don't want those people, you know. So it's all your right, and I believe that everyone is aware now. I mean, the 67% is huge, and I believe today also we will have a very nice percentage of people coming. I think people are more aware. They understand their rights. And a lot of people, they wanted to be part of this movement. A lot of people, they want to see how does it work. Maybe in 4 years, they can be
MPs themselves, yeah.
You know, this year particularly, we saw a lot of number of nominees to become candidates. Normal people, even youth. So this is the first time happening in Bahrain, and I think even in the region, that a lot of youth, some of them are jobless, some of them are entrepreneurs, some of them are, you know, high degree educational holders. They came and they participated. I think in 2000, the next one, after 4 years, we will have more youth entering the game.
Mr. Ali, coming from a social media background and you know, related to, if we want to explore the monitoring process of the whole elections, what are your evaluations of the transparency of the process in Bahrain?
I think it's very transparent, because today, with a click, you can find the information. With a click, you can see what's happening anywhere. If you are in any area, you want to know what's happening in that area, that election area, you just check out the hashtag of that area, or the candidate's account, or even the accounts, the groups. We had a lot of groups everywhere on social media talking about the elections. I go back to the rumors, because this is also transparency. You know, when have something happening, in few hours you see it on the officials' accounts. You can check it out. I mean, in couple of years back, you know, we had to wait until 8 o'clock TV news to understand or to know what's happening. Now we don't need to wait for the newspaper next day. You know, it's immediately, in few seconds, in few minutes, you see it in different groups. You'll see it on couple of ministers' accounts. I think this year, with all this live happening on TV as well, TV did a great job this time also with covering live from different locations. And we have those people who are monitoring the elections in every center, you know, from the societies, from the individuals. I think all that will add great value, that there is nothing wrong is happening, everything is clear, everything is going, you know, smooth.
Yes.
And it's also happening when you go there to the elections. Today I went, it took me in less than a minute to finish.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we had a queue, but still, the queue is moving fast. So there are many
it's very smooth.
boxes, and everything was smooth.
Mr. Ali, a final word or a piece of advice to the Bahraini citizens and residents watching us today.
It's 11:30 a.m. We still have a couple of hours, more hours. I mean, we have full half days, and I think every person have to say something today. So if you are with the candidates or you are not with the candidates, this is your future. This is the coming 4 years. We need people to be the right people to be in the parliament. Now, the thing is, if you choose someone and tomorrow he didn't do well, you can monitor him, you can talk to him, you can, today you have social media to pressure him. So there is no worry that says, no, I don't want to vote. Yes, you have to vote, choose the right person, and monitor him, and then, engage with him. So it's half day today, and still we have another half day to go.
To go and make your voices heard and make a difference.
Exactly.
Mr. Ali Sakkar, the founder and president of the Social Media Club Bahrain, thank you very much for the information and for joining us. And there are several requirements for the voters for parliamentary and municipal elections, which are outlined in this video by Assistant Councillor at Legislation and Legal Opinion Commission, Ibrahim Al-Busmait.
The voters' requirements for the parliamentary elections shall be as follows. Shall be 20 years of age on the day of elections, shall enjoy full legal capacity, shall be a regular resident of the constituency according to the ID card. In case of his or her residence abroad, his or her last place of residence in the Kingdom of Bahrain shall be his or her constituency. If he or she has no residence in the kingdom, then his or her family's place of residence shall be considered his or her constituency. Shall not have been sentenced in a felony or a crime breaching honor or integrity unless rehabilitated. Shall not have been sentenced to imprisonment in any of the electoral crimes provided in the Legislative Decree number 14 of 2002 with respect to the exercise of political rights, unless the sentence was suspended or he or she was rehabilitated. Meanwhile, the voters' requirement for municipal elections shall be as follows. Shall be 20 years of age on the day of elections, shall enjoy full legal capacity, shall be a regular resident in the constituency according to the ID card. In case of his or her residence abroad, his or her last place of residence in the Kingdom of Bahrain shall be his or her constituency. If he or she has no residence in the kingdom, then his or her family's place of residence shall be considered as his or her constituency. Shall not have been sentenced in a felony or a crime breaching honor or integrity unless rehabilitated. Shall not have been sentenced to imprisonment in any of the electoral crimes provided in the Legislative Decree number 3 of 2002 with respect to the system of election of members of municipal councils, unless the sentence was suspended or he or she was rehabilitated. Any GCC citizen upon whom the above-mentioned conditions apply can participate in the municipal elections as long as he or she obtains a permanent residential address in the Kingdom of Bahrain. This also applies to others who own constructed properties or land plots in the kingdom.
We now move to our correspondent Shog Mohammed from the Isa Town Primary School polling station at the Southern Governorate. Shog, good afternoon. What is the atmosphere like in the biggest governorate in size?
Good afternoon, Mohammed. We've had a very exciting morning here, and as we move on to the afternoon, the crowds have only gotten bigger and bigger. In the report previously played, they mentioned that someone needs to be 20 on the day of voting, which is very funny because we just had 2 birthday boys just walk in. They just turned 20 today, and they were very excited to vote today. They were very sad that they couldn't vote last week, so they're very happy that they have the chance to vote today.
That's very exciting news indeed. Shog, if you compare today with last week, is the excitement still there?
Well, Muhammad, last week people were very excited and very eager, and if possible this week they're even more excited and eager. Last week people came knowing already who they were voting for, and now that their choices are narrowed down to two, people are even more aware of who they're voting for. People are very excited, people are very anxious to see the results, and no one can wait for the counting of the ballots later on. People are coming in large groups and they're wearing t-shirts, they have banners, they have slogans, they have flags. Everyone is feeling very patriotic. They're excited about the democratic process. They are excited to take part. We have people who just came back from outside Bahrain and immediately came here from the airport. We have people who are bringing their children to teach them about the system. We have people of special needs who are being helped by the organizers, whether they need wheelchairs or if they need someone to read for them, if they need someone to write for them. They are being assisted and they're making sure that people are voting regardless of what they may need to do so.
Shog, that is very exciting indeed. With the birthday boys, the different age groups, the different people with special needs, and people, like you said, flying in and immediately coming in from the airport and living up to their duty. Shog, if you could walk us through the process of the vote. How long does it take? What do they need to bring with them, just as a reminder to our viewers?
It's important to remember, Mohammed, that you do need your passport and your national identity card or your CPR. And the process is very smooth, like I mentioned previously. Now that the choices are narrowed down to two, it doesn't really take that long because people aren't thinking about who they need to vote for. They already know who they need to vote for, and they are very ready to cast their ballot. So the process takes about 5 minutes. People are staying regardless and engaging in conversation. There's food being served outside. There's people bringing snacks. There's groups of people sitting together and laughing. So if you want to come and vote, it won't take that long, but you might not leave so soon because the environment here is very fun and very exciting.
Shog, you are one of our younger colleagues and this is your first time round voting. Could you tell us how that felt for you?
I think you can tell by my face how excited I am, especially seeing other people who just turned 20. I can sense the shared sense of responsibility that we have. We're all very excited to finally be here today and to take part in this process. We've been seeing it going on for years. We remember seeing our parents, our grandparents, our uncles and aunts, our older siblings vote, and it's very exciting, especially for me, seeing you all vote all these years and seeing you all participate. I'm very excited to finally be here and to finally cast my votes.
Thank you, Shog, for that personal account and for the information. We'll get back to you in the course of the program. Thank you very much. Polling stations across Bahrain opened at 8 o'clock this morning for tens of thousands of Bahraini men and women to cast their ballots in the second round of the parliamentary and municipal elections. Voters will have 12 hours from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. to elect 31 members of the Council of Representatives and 23 members of the municipal councils who will join the 9 parliamentarians and 7 councillors elected in the first round on November the 24th. The runoffs are held between the top 2 candidates in each constituency where no contestants secured at least 50% of the votes. 3 former lawmakers, including one from the 2002 to 2006 legislative terms, were re-elected last week. None of the 3 women who were members of the 2014 to 2018 Council of Representatives will be in the new one, after 2 did not run and the third did not win enough votes to make it at least to the second round. However, at least 3 women will be among the members in the new makeup of the council. 2 were elected last Saturday and a third will be from the runoff between 2 candidates in the capital governorate. 9 more women will be contesting for seats in parliament. 1 woman has been elected as municipal councillor and 4 more have aspirations to join her today by winning their constituencies. The record number of women who ran in the parliamentary and municipal elections and their success are a strong indication of the progress that Bahraini women have achieved over the years. Strongly backed by the outstanding efforts of the Supreme Council for Women and inspired by the dedication and devotion of the chairwoman, Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, voters may cast their ballots in the designated polling station in their constituencies or in any of the 15 general polling stations set up across the kingdom to facilitate the procedures for them. Now, public sector employees on duty may leave their workplace for up to 1 hour to cast their ballots. Our coverage continues of this National Day in our democratic process, but we go now for a short break. Welcome back to our live coverage of the second round of the 2018 elections. The general and constituency polling stations across Bahrain are witnessing an unrivaled turnout of registered Bahraini voters for the municipal and parliamentary elections. Large numbers of citizens queued up to participate in the elections in a patriotic scene showing love for Bahrain. 14 general polling stations and around 40 subsidiary ones spread according to the electoral constituencies across the kingdom started receiving around 365,000 eligible voters since 8 a.m. in a clear indication of citizens' interest in contributing to political and constitutional work laid by the reform project of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. Bahraini citizens were requested to report today to the polling stations to take part in the 5th quadrennial parliamentary and municipal elections witnessed by Bahrain since the launch of the Royal Reform Project more than a decade ago. The Elections Executive Committee and all relevant parties completed days of their preparations for the electoral process under the supervision of a number of judges and around 231 observers from 4 non-governmental organizations. The aim is to achieve the highest level of transparency and impartiality inside and outside the corridors of the polling stations and throughout all the electoral stages so as to further boost Bahrain's democratic image and constant steps towards the future. Bahraini nationals abroad cast their ballots in around 24 countries. Elections took place in 29 embassies, consulates, and diplomatic missions. The number of voters reached 3,600, bringing the participation rate above that of 2014's elections. Now, the electoral process in Bahrain affirms its pioneering experience in the parliamentary and municipal work, as well as the political work under the reform project of His Majesty the King. From the University of Bahrain polling stations, voters and even visitors were impressed.
The process of choosing the candidate was very tough this year. We had a lot of candidates of high caliber, each one with their own initiative, each one with their own vision. What impressed me most was that these candidates not only had a plan, but they had also certain KPIs, which is I'm going to do this and this year, and this is how you measure my performance.
I'm proud to be here today and participate in the election process. I'm also proud to see a significant number of women's participation and representation. This year we have over 40 women contesting in the election. This reflects His Majesty King Hamad's vision to have more women as contributors to the growth of our beloved country, Bahrain.
Today this is a special day for people in Bahrain, and I'm very impressed to see that people from different ages, including the youth, the elderly, and people with special need, all come to the voting centers to cast their votes. And this is something that is very impressive. And most of all, I see that the flow is very smooth, and people doesn't have to wait long. Everything seems to be well organized.
World-renowned children's rights and education activist Dr. Kailash Satyarthi visited Bahrain in September to learn about the kingdom's sustainable development efforts and progress. During his visit, he highlighted Bahrain's democratic process.
Well, the world is moving towards more, I would say, strong voices of democracy. The people should learn to respect each other, to franchise their vote and their voice, their power, and it's good. It's a good combination of constitutional monarchy as well as the people's power, which one can see in Bahrain much better way than many other countries in the neighborhood.
Meanwhile, former President of South Africa, Frederick William de Klerk, commented on the importance of elections in the process of any country's development.
I think it's very important that the people of a country should have a platform from which to say what they want. And elections lies at the heart of true democracy, together with the rule of law, together with having a good legal system. The main task of governments is to look after the safety of their people and the security of their people, and to create a platform from which they can work and have a good life. And parliaments and elected officials all contribute towards that.
The reform project of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa brought about numerous changes in the economic, political, and social fields of the kingdom. It opened new horizons and released the latent creative energy of the citizens of Bahrain while paving the way for consolidating democracy and political participation, strengthening the state of law and institutions, and increasing the level of political awareness among the Bahraini society.